Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, The Future of Intranets, Trends and Forecasts for 2021. This is the third webinar in the Ginger 365 series, aptly named because we're all ginger and love Microsoft 365. So this month we're going to go through like a quick countdown of the biggest trends with intranets. Thank you for joining us today, and hope you're as excited as I am for this countdown and for Christmas and for the end of lockdown. So there's lots to be excited about here today. I can see quite a lot of people coming online and joining the webinar, which is good to see. The numbers going up. But we're expecting just a few more people, so we're going to wait for another minute or two and just ramble on for a bit longer, basically. So you've got time. So you've got time to get comfortable, get a snack, get a tea, coffee, mince pie, mulled wine, or water, whatever.
Nice.
You know, I don't condemn drinking on the job. Before we get started, we wanted to do a quick poll to everyone. So it should come up on the screen in a second. Let me just launch it. Basically, we wanted to ask you, how well do you feel your organisation has transitioned to using Teams? So there's 5 different answers there that you can all look through and answer. And basically, we wanted to ask this today because Teams is going to be quite a hot topic today and next year. Basically because a lot of people have had to adopt and roll out Teams very quickly in their daily lives and work lives. We wanted to gauge how well it is working for everyone and for their companies, and this could be quite useful for us to refer to when we're talking about it today. So if you could, it would be quite helpful if you could all just put in your answers. I can see quite a few people have answered it already. So 40% are using it for chat and meetings only, 40% are using it, but still a bit messy. It went up to 50% for chat and meetings only. 17% love Teams. That's quite good to see. Still collecting responses. Might put my own answer in there. Oh, still going up. So we've only got, so no one's put, we haven't touched it yet, which is quite interesting to see. And no one's put none of the above, so people are definitely using it, which is good to see. Okay, so the poll's complete, so I'll close this and we'll go back to the slide. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, that was great.
So yeah, it's good to see. Interactive. So I can see we're probably ready to make a start, as most people have arrived. So I think we should start with some introductions. I think I should go first. So my name is Kate. I am the marketing executive at Clarkswell. I've worked here for over a year, and I handle most of the marketing activity here, which means that I get to do exciting webinars like this one. So that's me.
Shall I go next? I'm Seisha. I look after the Microsoft partnership at Clarkswell, as well as everything to do with modern workspace. So that's everything in the world of Microsoft 365, and it's a big world, and so we'll be talking about that today.
Hello, and I'm Sarah Blackburn. Sorry, I was having a moment where I wasn't sure if you could see my screen or not. So, so I'm an Office 365 consultant. So I started off in SharePoint stuff, and over the last few years, it's really expanded out into this whole world of lots of different sorts of apps that allow us to do loads and loads of cool stuff. So it's pretty exciting. There we go.
Okay, so just to remind you all, this is the Future of Intranets, Trends and Forecasts for 2021 webinar. So before we start the countdown, we're going to go through some key questions. If you go to the next slide, Sarah. So the first question I want to ask is, what will the role of the Intranet Manager look like in 2021?
Yeah, so this is a really great one. So I'm sure that you're all really worried about this. So things are changing. And one of the things that we really want you to do is just to embrace the new stuff. I mean, we've all been really adaptable all the way through this pandemic. It's shown us how we can just like get on and do our jobs when we're like sitting in the kitchen, balancing our laptops on our knees and things, and just take that adaptability and think, right, I'm going to learn new stuff about the new technologies that can help me to develop what people can do within the business, how people can communicate, how we can really embrace all of that, instead of having this kind of fear that the technology is going to take over or that IT is going to take over your job roles and things. Just embrace it. That's absolutely our way forward. So, and we hope that the Ginger 365 webinar is really showing you how you can just take little small things and bring it into your digital workspace.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of this as we go through this discussion in the top 10.
Yeah, great.
Definitely. So the next question is, how can both comms and IT unite to capture the team's runaway hosts?
Sure. So,
we should have done runaway reindeer.
Oh, yeah,
Reindeer,
yeah. So Teams, obviously, with the pandemic, everybody's been thrown into using Teams in a way that they might not have really been ready to do that. But now you're using it, and it's there, and it's a part of everyday life. And so now you might be thinking, okay, well, we can see some problems where people have just started using something that they maybe didn't know so much about. And also Microsoft have brought in new features as the year has gone on. So you may be like, well, actually, I didn't like this aspect of Teams, but now Microsoft have brought in a new thing that we can help us to do that. And we'll talk some of those things a little bit more in the top 10. But again, this is about making sure that both comms and IT are working together to see what's happening. So IT might be your best friends and saying, okay, there's this new cool thing that's happening and we think the business can benefit from this. But comms are really great at actually getting that message out to the business and getting it integrated in how people are using things in their daily lives. So really work together. That's the thing that you do in 2021, is work with IT and comms together. Okay, Sasha, did you have anything else to add?
Well, I just think that this is the thing that everyone is talking about so much, that they've had, they've started to use Teams, and now it's just like, it's sort of grown into this kind of, we keep calling it an algal bloom, that it just kind of has covered everything. And it's a bit intimidating for lots of people. And I think we'll cover more of this as we go through. But, that thing that started out as something that was, this is a great way to communicate, is now actually starting to crush some of those comms. So we can see that both IT and people in charge of internal comms need to kind of take the reins, as it were, of that reindeer.
Yeah, definitely. Be like a horse whisperer or a rainbow whisperer. So you don't think it's out there and it's gone. You can control it and you can get it to do what you need it to do. Yeah, definitely. Okay. So here's a $64,000 question. So with the improved experience of modern SharePoint, do we still need a third-party internet product? So obviously at Clarkswell, product has been what we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely fascinating, and I think this is something that we necessarily did see coming, but it's happened so quickly now in 2021. So there used to be this kind of gap where people used old SharePoint and it was really difficult to use, and it was very frustrating, and people tried to give that kind of web experience into their internal comms. So everything that you used to from the outside world, you go and look on your intranet and go, why is it so rubbish? So there were lots of products, including one that we have called EasyShare, which kind of plugged that gap. But we've seen this incredible leap where Microsoft, as kind of the sleeping giant, has woken up and released Modern SharePoint, which can do almost everything you need now. So we're finding this absolutely fascinating, and we're finding that our role as sort of facilitators has changed. Before we'd say we're going to plug in that gap, and now we're saying actually you can do a lot of it yourself, but it's still a bit tricksy. And so we're finding that we've got two kinds of projects now. One where people are saying this is bespoke with the Modern SharePoint experience, or they're saying, can we have those basic building blocks that you guys know so well to put in? So I think we're going to find that the kind of medium tier products are going to sort of sink away. Some of those big branded intranet products will still be on the market, but I think Microsoft itself is actually really going to try and punch out all of its competitors. So watch this space.
So this is all very exciting. I'm sorry.
The sneak peek. I love the sneak peek.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sarah, can you reveal anything that's going on with our clients?
The big reveal.
So
Yeah.
I just realized this slide's in the wrong place. So but shh, you didn't see any of that. Okay, so we've got some really great things happening. So we've got an NHS client where we're looking at document management with a disposal workflow that they've then got control over. So this is using the Flow application to set up that workflow. And the advantage of Flow is that it's much more user friendly. So when we talk about SharePoint workflows, you have to get a developer to write it and things. So you might have a business user saying, I want to do A followed by B followed by C, but you couldn't actually do that yourself as a business user. And that's what Flow can let you do. And it's amazing for like plug-in connectors going in and out of things. So if you've got a third-party product, you can bring it in and say, okay, Flow can talk to that. So if you're talking to Salesforce or to a different CRM, Flow can cope with all of that now. Microsoft have really seen the gaps in the market where they need their products to talk to other people's products. And then that project has got some Power BI reporting, so to give people information about what they need. So it's getting that data out of databases and into charts that people can understand and go, I can see that we've got 40% of stuff happening and we really want that to be 80%. And you can show it to someone in a meeting and people can go, we need to do something about that. So that's the power of Power BI, is being able to get the data to the right people. It's not just numbers in a spreadsheet anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a really yeah, definitely. We had an amazing project with an insurance broker where this was an extension. So often we talk about low code and no code in the Power Platform, but this was actual custom code that we needed to write in order to hook into a platform that wasn't there in the Microsoft. So we can do that at that gap bridging. So if the connectors are already there, then great, we use them. And if they're not, then we write custom connectors to connect those things up. The third thing is the consultancy firm where we've got CV management tool with workflow. These all sound like really like sensible things that you might be doing, and you might be thinking, we could do this. And these aren't huge projects. It's really about getting a form. So you fill in like the basic form and it goes into a SharePoint library, and there's a flow managing that whole process, and the connectors between the CRM and the Microsoft parts of the product are really making all those things happen. So you drop the CV in and it goes through the process. It knows what to have, who to contact at whatever stage in the process, and that process is sort of multi-stage and multi-branching. I don't know how else to say that. So it's like if A happens, B and C happen, but if D happens, E and F happens, and the flow knows all of those things. So you don't have to have a person going, oh, if this happens, what do I do next? That it really guides that process. And then we've got a really exciting project with Teams governance. You're using the Power Virtual Agents, so you might not have heard of this yet. So this is where we can have bots that for creating sort of having conversations with things, with people, sorry, not with things. So the bot, you ask the question of the bot, you say to the bot, I want a new team. And the bot says, what sort of a team would you like? Is this team to run an event, or is this team to run a project? And you say, it's a project. And it says, okay, I've got a team that will help you. What sort of things do you want to have in this project team? And then it goes on through that, and it helps you the process. It emails the right people in IT that need to know that that team was set up. And it really kind of makes all of those things. So where we know that you can just click a button and create a team, but that then can create that little sprawl that we talked about before. This Teams governor really helps us to do that. And then there are some Power BI reporting dashboards so that people in IT can look and go, oh, we've had 47 teams created this week, or we've got 197 teams that haven't been used for 3 months. And they can do something about those things that are happening, and not feel that they're out of control with this whole Teams thing. So hopefully you've gone, oh wow, we could do some of those things. So these are things that maybe if you've got someone in IT that can help you, then that can happen. Then they can do that, or you can come to someone like Clarkswell and we can help you along the way of doing these things. But as I said, a lot of these are no code or low code. They're not expensive things that can happen. It's more about your business process and then getting.
I think that's the difference. That's the revolution in this, isn't it? That these would have been huge integration projects a few years ago, and now it's a question of kind of doing this kind of low code, no code approach, so you can do things almost on the fly. It's incredible.
It's great. We're really excited, and the devs are really excited because actually it makes their life a lot easier. They can do a huge number of things with this now. So, okay.
Oh, we're up to the countdown, are we?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah. Look, I hear my bells.
Oh, excellent.
There we go. Yay. Yeah, great. Okay. So we're counting down.
In
Number
at
10.
10. So I've talked about Power BI a couple of times already. It's getting visuals to people. It's getting data, boring data, numbers out of databases and into visuals that you can take into meetings, and people recognize the power of that piece of data. And it is about getting the right data, not just boring numbers, right data in the right format to the right people. Okay, number 9, Sasha, this is one of yours.
Yeah, so this is something I found really interesting, because I think what we thought we would see is people moving off old SharePoint onto newer SharePoint. But in fact, I think the real trend for 2021 is going to be that's going to be a staggered approach, which is not quite what we expected, and now is going to be the foundation. So that a lot of people are using Modern as the beginning of a new intranet. So they might just do their homepage and some other bits and bobs and stuff that they can integrate more easily with Teams, which we'll come to. But actually, they're not going to hurry off their legacy systems, because they can have ways of pulling that sort of thing through. So that the traditional thing of just moving through SharePoints, we're not going to see that in 2021. We're going to see a mix, a meld of those different SharePoints, and some of them might never be turned off.
Yeah, and that's really exciting, because it means that you can get the good without having to go through the pain of moving all the old over.
Oh, look, I've got to say, there's so many people I've shown Modern SharePoint to, and they've gone, that looks great, but I'm too scared, because we've spent 5 years trying to get the old SharePoint working, right?
Yeah. Great. Okay, so I mentioned team templates. So when we talked about the bot and how it can go, I'm managing a project, this is what you can do. So this is something that Microsoft have brought in, that brought in a kind of a user interface, a thing that you and I could look at and click a button and make a thing happen. This has been there in the background for a while. We've done some custom designs for clients where they've gone, we want a team, but we want it to do this, this, and this. So we want it to run this project. We want to put our project documentation into it. And so we've done that already. And this is just putting a new nice front onto it.
And it is nice. It's pretty.
It does look pretty. And so when you go create team in Teams now, this is, if your IT have already turned this on, this is what you see, rather than just, you've got one choice, you create a team. Now you've got this kind of like, I've got 13 choices. Which one do I want?
What happens? Can you explain, Sarah, what if I was to click on one of these things, what then blooms from there?
Yeah, so a traditional team is going to have just a document library and the chat channel and just one general channel, and now it has multiple channels depending on which type of team you select at this point. And it also has some of the new Microsoft lists. So if you're managing a project, it adds in a planner and a task list, so that you've got that, and then there's sort of the basic thing. So it's like they're fit for purpose. So, and the manage the event one, it's got a calendar in it. So, and it's got the forms attached to that, so that you can kind of do all that sort of general things. So, but one of the things that you'll probably find, like with any other thing that Microsoft give you as kind of like samples. So remember, like when you had when you go into Word and it says you want to create a CV, here's a CV that I've built, and you can just change your name and things like that, and you're like, oh, but this doesn't look anything like my CV to look like, so I want to change it. So what you can do is you can do your own custom designs. So This is a kind of it's a sort of a medium code. It's not quite low code. But it's like some PowerShell scripts. So you would kind of go, okay, so we know now we can have a template that says manage a project, but we've got our specific documents. So to manage a project, so your statement of work and your project plan and things like that, we want our documents to appear in the document library. So instead of the project manager having to come out and go, okay, I need 10 documents, I need to put them in the library, they're all there, and he just starts to use them as they start to manage the project. So it's that kind of like Microsoft giving you some ideas and some samples, but probably for real pure business use, you're going to go, we want to extend this, we want to move on and make this really fit to our business. So I think for us, this is really exciting, definitely. Okay, so number 7 is it's a little bit out there. So Microsoft sometimes do things and they go, you're going to do this in your life. And we go, really? We're going to do that? And when Teams first arrived, this is what we thought. We were like, what is this new app? We've got like things that we can talk to each other with. We've got Outlook for managing stuff. We've got SharePoint for managing documents. Why do we need this new app called Teams? What is it? Okay, so sometimes you have to wait for a little while and then Microsoft writes about stuff. And this one here is that they've started saying you should use Teams in your personal life. You should be using Teams to talk to your mum, to have a Christmas get together. You should be doing it.
This is a message for you, Kate. You need to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what Microsoft's trying to do is they're trying to edge out Google Meet and Zoom, and they're trying to grab hold of some of it. But I don't know. This is one for you to think about. I'm just putting it out there as we might be sitting here next year going, what was that application we used to use? Zoom?
Yeah. Don't say that.
Okay, Kate, this is yours because this is a marketing thing.
Yeah, so coming in at number 6, we have getting to grips with newsletters. So finally, Microsoft provided us with a good newsletter tool. So before we had to handcraft them, put them all together, it took quite a while and it was quite annoying. So now we've got a handy new tool to use. So it's something I definitely recommend using and just having a try out. If you need any help, we can help with that. But that's about that. Yeah, just use it.
And that's a thing that's in modern SharePoint, right? Is that just a thing that it has? Yeah. Because I just think of all of the intranet projects over all of the years where people have written, their proposals and they've said newsletters, and we've gone, well, you can, but obviously the fact that this is press the magic button and off it goes, it's brilliant.
Great.
Good. Okay, number 5, Seisha.
Oh, this is me. Yeah. So I think this is a part of what we were saying at the beginning about the changing role of the Intranet Manager as well. That sort of really formal intranet where it's sort of heavily curated. We've spent a lot of time preparing news stories that have then been approved through various workflows and published and everything else. I think the days of those guys are numbered. I think what we're going to see much more of is, because things are in teams, people are going to say, I just refer you to the chat, because we discussed this earlier, and that saved chat there deals with all of this issue. So read that instead of reading my beautifully curated article. I think we'll have a mixture. Obviously, we're going to come to this a bit further on about some of that formal information and your different sources. But because chat and just a general contribution of all users is going to sort of be the heart of all of your comms, you're going to see that the style and the tone is going to adapt that across. So you might find as well that that the authorship is changing, and I think we'll come to that. So a bit casual on the internet now. So that's the chinos and no tie on the internet, please.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it goes hand in hand with the fact that people are more casual in their appearance now.
I think that's right. Yeah, and I mean, I might be wearing UGG boots, I might not be. There's
yeah, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't think. I think
no, that's
right. I can be comfy and still give good advice about it.
Amazing. Yeah.
In fact, I might give better advice if I haven't had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and get on a train and go to Birmingham. So yeah. Okay, so number 4 is that Power Platform. So I talked about this quite a bit in the introduction. So the pink one is your Power Apps, blue one is Flow, the
mustard is BI.
Yeah, that's Power BI, and this one is
Power
the
Virtual
the bot
Agents.
thing. Yeah, the Power Agents. Yeah, so it like goes out of my head every time. So because I think bots, but it's not actually bots. It's the mechanism for creating bots. And so yeah, so this we think this is going to be really, really powerful. And a significant portion of what we're going to be doing next year is helping you to get to grips with these things, to make sure that you've got truly integrated business process, not just stuff happening over there, not just a link on the intranet that goes to your HR system. It's actually integrated in, and that's the power of the Power Platform.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
So there's that slide that was in the wrong place. So
so this, and this, I think this one, number 3, which is going to be a really big change, is sort of what we've sort of touched on. So if it's very easy to create a news article in something like Modern SharePoint, you're going to find that the idea of that, the ownership of that news being held just within the internal comms team is going to be really hard to justify. So particularly for, you've got people working from home, they've got different stories to tell, they're going to find it very easy to share information. So the ownership of content is really going to be devolved across all of your comms. And so that's the idea, that you just go to a single source and that's the intranet, is going to it's just not going to work, because people are going to say, well, I was in Teams and someone told me this in the chat and I've been relying on this. So you need to make sure that you're moderating that content where you need to, but also that you can allow people who know their stuff to speak authoritatively about it as well. And so I think, if you felt like at the beginning of the year that the news all belonged to you, by the end of next year, you're going to find that that's a very different story.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about Stream and using it effectively. So I'm quite excited to talk about. So as what we are starting to see now is people are using video as their main internal communications channel. And this is for several different reasons, but the main ones are because video is a lot more engaging and easy to digest, just a lot nicer to look at, really. And this is especially useful for frontline workers and deskless workers, because they're much more likely to watch a video, say, on their phone or tablet, or just in like a meeting, than to like actively scroll through pages of notes and news articles. And also it's quite a nice medium for people working from home, because they want to see human face, all that kind of thing. Also, it can make your business processes a lot easier. So one of the things that we've seen a lot of our clients use is video in the HR onboarding process. So instead of lots of different notes and articles and things, there's videos there instead. It's a lot more visual, engaging. So you can watch videos on diversity, company policies, health and safety, things like that. And then another thing is using videos to communicate company updates. So getting people to watch the videos, and you can track when people have watched them, how much they've watched and how much they've engaged in it, which is good especially when you're doing a company update and if it's important. And then lastly, my favorite thing is the integration of Stream into Teams with video conferencing. So when you do a video call or conference on Teams, Stream will record it, they'll transcribe it, and then they'll send the meeting notes out to the attendees if that's what you want. And as someone who has written a lot of meeting notes, it's quite useful. It saves a lot of time. So I quite like it. That's my favourite bit. So there's lots of good things about it. So it's up and coming.
It's great. And I think there's quite a lot where we've sort of started using Teams much more, that we're not sort of together, that video is really bringing some of that out. So that kind of like big company meeting that you might have the CEO standing in front of people, they are just videoing that from their front room now. So it's almost, for the circumstances have forced us to take things on, and it means that everyone's got their platform, they've got their stuff set up at home so that they can use video.
And that plays back again to what I was saying about the, things being a bit more informal. So, that's, again, you've got the CEO chatting away and talking to you about what's going on. And, I think that's all of these tools enable that, as well as making it happen, forcing it to happen. Yeah. I'm going to ring the bell for number 1 now. Do I do that?
Yeah, definitely. So this is something that we've talked about quite a lot already in the series, haven't we? Yeah,
we have, and we did talk about it last time, and you can see that, or you can talk to us about it another time. But this is absolutely huge. There's just no way of getting around this, because I think last year, or this year, 2020, people had SharePoint and they had Teams, and what's happened is now those things are going to meld together. And they can do it so easily now. This is the thing that is amazing. If you go back and see our last webinar, if you want to see a demonstration of this, of how actually SharePoint can actually come right into Teams and be in that space, we can show it to you. But it's beautiful, it's seamless, and it deals with that huge problem that we know that a lot of people are having where people are just living in Teams and they never leave Teams now, and they do everything in Teams, and they will not go to the corporate intranet. That's right. So if they will not go to the corporate intranet, then the corporate intranet will come to you. And what's really sweet about this is that it will come to you, but not it's just in a very seamless, pleasant way, where you can have your comms people very much in control of their content and who they're pushing it to and who they're limiting it from, all of those beautiful things that you've always been able to do, but within that Teams space where we know that everybody's gone into and they're not coming out of. So this is, we were talking about this before, and we were basically saying, if you haven't done this by the end of next year, then you'll be really embarrassed, because you'll be.
We can help you, and we talked about this before about the multiple SharePoints. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. You can do a bit and not have to worry about doing it all in one go. You don't have to eat the elephants next month. You can have a chunk and a chunk. How do you eat?
We're having turkey at our house. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, turkey. Yeah. Or one of those. What is it called? all the birds all together. I forgot.
A flock of birds? I don't know. Yeah.
No,
all right.
No, the Christmas dinner where you've got like a.
Oh yeah, like a turducken.
Yeah, that's it. There, Turducken.
Oh wow. Okay. So basically, Microsoft 365 is a turducken. That's what you're saying. So it's a chicken inside a duck inside a turkey. Brilliant.
Oh,
fabulous.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So this is the recipe for turducken that we're now coming to, right?
Yeah.
mm.
So this is basically all of the things that we can do that might be useful to you. Was I going to say this?
Yes.
I think you do normally. Sorry.
It's a bit like we were saying before. So we've always done Microsoft stuff, and we used to sort of do deeper integrations and that sort of thing. And we used to have, and we still have, we've got an intranet product. But what we're finding is that what we're doing is we're helping much more. So we've got a role to help organizations where they're saying, actually, a bit of this we can do, because this is now in that kind of no code world. We can handle it. But when we get to the kind of the edges of that, the low code stuff, then you need this sort of expertise. But some of the things that we've been doing for clients lately is just a bit of a show and tell, really, is to say, it's the classic line, the art of the possible. But sometimes we really just, we're brought in to show, to take comms to say to IT, or IT to say to comms. There's a whole big world out there of really beautiful things which can be incredibly transformative for your users, and we can help with that. So that might be a demo, it might be just doing a proof of concept, it might be starting out with what we were talking about. We do a few templates for you, and then once you've kind of got the hang of it, you go on from there. Or to take it to the next level, which the projects we've got lined up for January are very much of that. Okay, we've got the basics. We've got a new homepage on Modern SharePoint. We've got people using Teams, but now what? And it really is that kind of like, let's take it to the next level. Let's use it properly. It's a bit like we've just bought a new car. And at the moment, there are a lot of shiny things in the car, and I've just turned them off when I'm driving because it's too distracting. And so I think that's been a bit of the approach to Microsoft 365. A lot of shiny things have come out. You can see just by those logos we've been looking at. And it's sort of up to people like us to say, actually, this is fun, and you've got a lot of opportunity to make the most of it.
Yeah, but we can come along, we can listen to your business problems, and we can go, you can use this and this and this to solve that. And you could do all of that maybe already on your own, and you just didn't know that you could do it, and you just needed us to go, these are the 3 things. But at the moment, you're like, there are like 20 things in 365, and I don't know what they are. They're all these logos. So yeah, that's what we do. We help people understand it.
Yeah, logo wrangling.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to echo that from Sarah and Sisha, that we're very happy to help with any of your issues. And something we wanted to offer is some free consultancy on the run up to Christmas, a little Christmas gift. So basically what you do is you'll have a chat with one of our Office 365 team specialists like Sarah, and she'll listen to you, and you'll chat and you'll write up a report. And it's quite simple, really, quite useful. In some of our last webinars, we've had some great meetings from this.
Yeah, it's been really
have come out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't be shy about this. I mean, sometimes people come and we kind of talk through, and then they go away and go, we can do this on our own. And sometimes we go, this is a huge project. Let's go and get some money to do a huge project. And we're here to help.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
to wrap up, so we'll be sending out a follow-up email from this webinar, so with the recording and everything like that, and just some information. And then also we wanted to invite you to our next 365 webinar, which will be about how to get started with the Power Platform. And that's something we talked about today, so it could be quite useful. There'll be a registration.
Remember that slide where I had the different projects that we've been working on, and you were all like, I don't even know what some of these things are. We're really going to dive in and show you some cool stuff that we're doing. So we're really excited about showing you some things there.
Brilliant.
Okay, happy Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. See you in the new year.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks.
We've got Wave. We've got Kate waving.